This is CBN NewsWatch.
And thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Ephraim Graham. A scathing grand jury report accuses more than 300 Catholic priests in Pennsylvania of sexually abusing children. But officials believe the real number of abused children might be in the thousands, since some records were lost and some victims have been too afraid to come forward. Our Charlene Aaron is on the story.
Shell grand jury report identifies more than 1,000 victims and 300 predator priests. The report says sexually abused children in 6 Pennsylvania dioceses as far back as 1940. State Attorney General Josh Shapiro released the report Tuesday in an emotional news conference surrounded by victims, some sharing their traumatic stories in a video.
When you have the priest touching you every day, you know, that's a hard memory to have.
He would always have his hands on me.
They targeted me because I was fatherless.
The time of telling these victims to keep their truth to themselves has ended.
The report accuses dozens of church leaders of covering up the abuse for decades, beginning in the mid-1950s.
Priests were raping little boys and girls, and the men of God who were responsible for them not only did nothing, they hid it all for decades.
In response to the report, Bishop David Zubik of the Pittsburgh Diocese is apologizing to victims. That diocese is one of the 6 named in the report.
I promise to meet with any victim to apologize to them in person and in the name of the church.
Outside of Pennsylvania, Washington, D.C. Cardinal Theodore McCarrick recently resigned after accusations of sexual abuse. He's the highest-ranking church official to fall, but maintains his innocence. Meanwhile, criminal charges will be brought against a few priests in Pennsylvania, but officials say many of the cases are beyond the statute of limitations. The grand jury recommends changes in some state laws to bring justice for the victims.
The grand jury recommends that the penalties for a continuing failure to report child abuse be clarified. We can't pass laws telling the church how to administer internal operations, but we can demand that it inform authorities about rapists and molesters, wrote the grand jury.
Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
A Turkish court has rejected an appeal for the release of American evangelical pastor Andrew Brunson. Media reports from Turkey say his attorney reviewed an appeal yesterday for his release from house arrest and for his travel ban to be lifted. The Harayet newspaper is reporting that a higher court will review the appeal. The 50-year-old pastor is being charged on charges related to espionage and terrorism, which both he and the U.S. government vehemently deny. President Trump slapped sanctions on 2 Turkish officials over the dispute and doubled steel and aluminum tariffs. Turkey retaliated today with tariffs on some U.S. goods. The Trump administration is now taking legal action against Omarosa Manigault-Newman. This comes as she releases more secretly recorded tapes during her book promotion tour. CBN White House correspondent Ben Kennedy is on this story.
President Trump took to Twitter calling out Omarosa Manigault-Newman, who continues to release tapes aimed at damaging her former boss. Those tapes now raising security and even ethical concerns right here behind me at the White House. President Trump hit hard, calling his former aide a dog. This in response to her new tell-all book about her time in the White House, which contains accusations against the president. She claims she heard a tape of Trump using a racial slur on the set of The Apprentice. Trump fired back that producer Mark Burnett personally called him and said there is no such tape.
I think, like most people that worked with her, very disappointed that she would go to such a self-serving and somebody who blatantly cares more about herself than our country to make up some of these outrageous claims and accusations.
Omarosa is under fire for recording White House conversations, including one in the Situation Room where cell phones and recording devices are not allowed. The act has been denounced as a serious breach of ethics and security. The moral compass right here in D.C. is really wavering lately. What is the state when it comes to ethics in American politics?
We have a concern in this country about the moral compass of individuals involved in leadership or involved in different professions. And even if something is legal, it doesn't mean that it is morally appropriate to do in a situation. And so I think it's an important discussion to have.
Turns out it's not a crime in D.C. to tape someone without their knowledge. But Region Law Professor Nat Gant points out it then becomes an issue about ethics.
Even though it may be legal to record a conversation, generally there may be specific ethical implications given her particular role in the White House.
Omarosa now claims that Special Counsel Robert Mueller's office has even reached out about the tapes.
Anything Mueller would like to see? Robert Mueller?
If his office calls again,
would you be a good witness in this investigation?
The case now heads to the court. The Trump campaign says Omarosa violated a non-disclosure agreement that she signed with the Trump campaign, and they now plan to take legal action against her. Ben Kennedy, CBN News, the White House.
Here now is a look at some of the other major headlines we're following for you today inside the CBN newsroom. Rescue workers in Italy are still hoping to find survivors in the rubble of a collapsed bridge as the death toll was raised to 37. The collapse of the highway bridge sent dozens of cars and 3 trucks plunging down 150 feet Tuesday. Officials say they are still expecting to find people based on the number of cars estimated on the bridge at the time of the collapse. Top U.S. officials from the U.S. and Mexico have teamed up to combat the Mexican drug cartel. Their new plans, announced at a joint news conference in Chicago, will concentrate on international investigations of the cartels. Officials say they also plan to put greater emphasis on attacking cartels' financial infrastructure. The driver arrested on suspicion of using his car to carry out a terrorist attack in London was a British citizen who immigrated to England from Sudan. The 29-year-old drove his vehicle through Westminster, sideswiping victims and ramming into a barrier outside of Parliament. Police say the man was not known to police or counter-terrorist units and was not on a watch list. For more on these stories and others throughout the day, you can always visit cbnnews.com. Israel opened the main crossing point for goods going into Gaza today. The crossing had been closed for a month because of Hamas attacks on Israel. It's relatively quiet at the Gaza border now after last week's barrage of rocket fire into Israel. Egypt and the UN have pushed hard for a long-term ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, but the Israeli deputy to the Prime Minister, Michael Oren, told CBN News he's skeptical.
I can't tell you much about the possibility of a ceasefire, but one thing I can tell you with 100% certainty that if a ceasefire is achieved, Hamas will violate it, because that's the nature of Hamas. Hamas is a jihadist terrorist organization that's sworn to kill us. So it's in its DNA to break that ceasefire.
Hamas is listed as a foreign terrorist organization by the U.S. State Department. Coming up, you probably haven't heard of it, but it's happening in libraries across the country. It's called Drag Queen Story Hour, where men dressed as women read stories to children. We're going to tell you about that next, right here on CBN NewsWatch. It's a disturbing trend in libraries across the country. It is called Drag Queen Story Hour. It features men dressed as women reading books to children. While some parents are outraged at this practice, library officials at a recent event in Virginia told CBN News' Charlene Aaron it is fit for their city's vision of inclusion and diversity.
This public library here in Virginia Beach, Virginia, recently hosted an event called Drag Queen Story Hour, and we witnessed parents taking their children as young as 2 inside to take part. Drag Queen Story Hour is advertised as an event that captures the imagination and play of childhood and gives kids glamorous, positive, and diverse role models. It is all part of a national initiative with more than 20 chapters across the country. Last summer, the Boston Public Library allowed drag queens dressed as Catholic nuns, called the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, to read to kids. Princeton professor Robert P. George told CBN News it's dangerous to use the state to promote ideas that defy normal ideas about gender.
Well, it's a message about power. The group in question, the so-called Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, is sending a message that they have the power to enter into the public domain, a publicly funded institution, I believe, not a private one, and to essentially hold a catechism class for this new religion that they've created, a religion of hedonism, of self-indulgence. Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence say a religion of licentiousness.
At another, a man dressed in drag encouraged a young child to become a drag queen.
I would like to be a superhero.
Yeah, you could be a drag queen superhero.
Elizabeth Johnston, also known as the activist mommy, calls the issue surrounding gender confusion gender insanity.
Moms and daughters transitioning to the opposite sex together. We've got guys going into girls' locker rooms and bathrooms, and drag queens are reading stories to children in public libraries, thereby normalizing this behavior of men dressing up in high heels, a wig, a bra, and copious amounts of makeup. Whatever happened to puppet shows and craft day at the library?
One Virginia parent disagrees.
I think that we should say that everybody's different, and we should accept people for their differences, and that we should treat them as we would treat anybody else with just different tastes. Some people like pizza, some people don't like pizza, some people dress up like women, some people dress up like men.
More than 20 parents brought kids ages 2 to 8 to a Virginia Beach story hour, where Gillette Black, who is openly gay, dressed as a mermaid and read 3 books as part of an Under the Sea theme. Black wants to be a positive role model and says reading in drag makes it more fun for the kids.
Just to give them something extra to look forward to, the makeup, the glitter, it's going to keep them more in tune and more willing to listen and pay attention. They were all accepting, they all were happy about it and excited and giving me hugs and everything.
Library officials say the program highlights a need in its community.
The library has a strategic plan, and one of our big parts of our plan is inclusion and diversity. So we offer about 8,000 programs for children and adults a year, and we just wanted to make sure we cover a wide variety of interests and speak to all members of our community. So this program fell into that strategic action item.
But outraged residents argue the program will harm kids.
I think it's really unfortunate that our city isn't they're here to protect and keep us safe. And I'm not sure they're doing that for all the population, especially the children. Here they're going to get exposed to something that they're really not sure about and be confused.
And it doesn't stop there. Netflix plans to debut a gay-themed superhero show featuring cross-dressers called Super Drags. The activist mommy describes today's culture movements as an embarrassing moment in our nation's history.
We have become so open-minded that our brains are falling out. Truth and reality and science really mean nothing to the left. People are fighting their true biological identity, and Hollywood and the media are trying to pressure us to celebrate this.
2 more Drag Queen Story Hour events are planned for this Virginia Beach library in August and September. Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
Coming up, it is called the diaper loophole, where federal aid programs don't cover diapers for many mothers in need. So one social worker came up with a way to help, and it spread far beyond her community. We've got the story coming up next. The faith-based community is coming out strong for paid family leave. Senator Marco Rubio proposed the plan. It would offer parents a chance to stay at home with some newborns in exchange for Social Security benefits. Under the plan, expected parents could apply to the Social Security Administration and receive at least 2 months of paid leave, all in exchange for a 3 to 6 month delay in Social Security benefits. Multiple faith-based organizations have praised that proposal. There is a loophole in federal aid to low-income families. Some call it the diaper loophole. Food stamps, Medicaid, the Women, Infant, and Children program, none of them cover diapers. So one former social worker decided to address this basic need. And as Caitlin Burke shows us, she had no idea her efforts would spread beyond her community.
In an ideal world, each newborn would receive the best of care. Reality, however, shows that parenthood is an investment for which some families aren't fully prepared.
We was in a situation we both was homeless, and now we getting our life back together.
And similar situations face more than 5 million other children living in the U.S. Federal programs provide help for low-income mothers and children up to 5 years old, although those safety nets don't cover an essential need.
On average, an infant goes through about 360 diapers per month. That's roughly this many. That comes to $70 to $80 per month per baby.
As a society, when we think about policy issues, we think about really big picture things. We think about housing and food. We don't think about a diaper.
Joanne Goldblum started the National Diaper Bank Network after seeing diaper need as a social worker.
As a social worker and somebody who really thought that they understood what poverty in America looked like, I was so struck by the lack of basic needs that existed for families.
Rachel Behringer was pregnant with her second child when she heard about diaper need. She went to her husband Justin, the outreach pastor at their church in Kentucky, and they opened their first diaper bank in 2015. A year later, Justin prepared to enter graduate school in Dallas, where they found a new church, and that led to Diapers Etc., which became a part of the National Diaper Bank Network. In operation since September, they've given out more than 10,000 diapers. In Dallas and other communities across America, the location of low-income housing combined with a lack of transportation can make finding affordable diapers almost impossible.
In our area, we had 2 grocery stores. They both shut down. So we live in basically a food desert now, but a food desert also means a diaper desert.
Justin and Rachel not only want to provide a resource to neighborhood families, they want to offer a place of rest.
We try to operate on an ethic of inefficiency rather than an ethic of efficiency. We're not trying to get folks in and out as quick as possible. We like the idea of church being sanctuary, and this is a place where folks can come rest.
For Justin and Rachel, they see diapers as only the beginning.
And so we're trying to pull all of these pieces together to where our diaper distribution days and the store that we're doing will just be one part of a larger ministry that's happening in the community.
A classic example of how adding God to an idea as simple as diapers can lead to some pretty amazing results. Caitlin Burke, CBN News, Dallas, Texas.
Up next, a rare Bible that had been missing for 500 years has now been found. We've got the story for you coming up right after this. Hope you'll stay with us. A rare medieval Bible has finally been returned to England's iconic Canterbury Cathedral after being missing for 500 years. The Bible was found and purchased at a manuscript auction in London. The Antiques Trade Gazette reports the Bible was handwritten and illustrated by a 13th century monk. It went missing during the Protestant Reformation. CBN International is helping to bring the gospel to children in Moldova. The Eastern European country started broadcasting Superbook on national television channels in Romanian and Russian to teach audiences across the country. CBN has also partnered with churches to host Superbook events for families. More than 150 children, ages 4 to 15, were able to learn about the gospel at Superbook's Children's Festival. They learned Bible lessons, watched Superbook episodes, and sang the salvation poem. You can find out more about what CBN is doing around the world by visiting cbn.com/international. It is right now time for your Wednesday word, and today's word is original. Original. Think about it. You are a designer's original. The scripture clearly says you are fearfully and wonderfully made. That said, it's very important for you to stop comparing yourselves to others and you be who God has called you to be. You are a designer's original, a masterpiece. No need to be a carbon copy of anyone else. Be who God has called you to be. And with that word, you make this a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. That is going to do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Remember that you can find more exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com. And we would love to hear what you think about the stories you've seen here today. Remember, you can begin doing that by emailing CBN NewsWatch at cbn.com. We'd love to hear what you think about the stories you've seen here today. Once again, email us at newswatch at cbn.com. And of course, you can reach out and touch us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you'll join us again right here tomorrow. Goodbye and God bless everybody.